Infinity Bros podcast, the only podcast that is perfectly balanced as all things should be. We are here for a super top secret show. I am your host, Mark Jones. Excited that we have you all listening. I'm here with one other Infinity Bro, Zayne.
Hello, Mark.
Zayne, how are you doing today?
You know, Mark, I'm doing fantastic. I'm happy to be here, and it feels really great that we're doing like a secret episode that no one knows about, and we're just gonna drop this on the masses.
We're just gonna drop it on them. We're gonna drop it hard, and really, this is our like secret top secret show. Like we're trying to, pan out. We're labeling it as Infinity Bro, so like if it burns out, then we just don't have to start our new podcast, right?
Exactly. This is. Wait, are we starting a coup right now of the Infinity Bros universe?
Maybe. Well,
maybe
split them, secret wars amongst Infinity Bros.
Oh, yeah. There we go. We can start a secret war with the Infinity Bros.
Yeah. So Zayne, how mad would you be if I am about to bamboozle you and hoodwink you right now?
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time I've ever been bamboozled or hoodwinked. So, I mean,
I'm gonna throw you into the Infinity Gauntlet.
Bring it on.
I did talk to Zayne to do a top secret show, and then I went to some of the Infinity Bros and got some Infinity Gauntlet questions because I thought this would be fun, and put Zayne through it because I think we got some good content right here.
Oh boy!
So Zayne, buckle up. We got a handful of questions.
But my chair doesn't have a seat buckle on it. What am I supposed to do, Mark?
Get all the Taco Bell wrappers you have left over and Mountain Dew boxes, create some type of harness, strap yourself in, and hope for the best.
Okay, I'll get ready. Hang on a second. Socks on or off?
I would say double up on socks, because I guarantee one pair might be rocked off.
All right, well, I'm not going to put it on, but I'm going to have the second pair on standby just in case I need to put it on right away.
Okay. Just make sure it doesn't get blown away while your other socks get blown off.
Okay, I'll have something heavy sitting on it, so it'll keep it there.
All right, good. Okay. So our first question comes from Infinity Bro Robbie.
Pass.
You can't. You can't. I'm gonna give it to you whether you like it or not. And honestly, out of all the people I asked, I was surprised by the questions that they delivered. So it's like I expected maybe like a weird, like more obscure one from Robbie, but it's everything's serviceable.
Okay, well, I mean, when you told me this, it's probably something like I'm fully expecting the weird stuff because I'm just a weird guy. So why would they not?
I did too, and I was just like, oh, these are all questions Zayne will probably love to answer.
Right, Mark's over here nah, we need the hard hitting stuff. Let's get weird with it. Come on, guys.
Let's get super weird, bro. All right. Back to it. Robbie's question is, you have to pick one DC character, one Marvel character to switch universes. Who do you pick and why?
Oh, one Marvel character and one DC character to switch. This is a good question, actually. I mean, I think the softball is to bring Batman over, so I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna go with the DC character I'd like to see in Marvel is the Flash. I think Marvel needs a speedster like the Flash. Yeah, you got Quicksilver, but I would like to see Marvel have a speedster that has the story in depth that the Flash has.
Sure.
Because we haven't really gotten that from Marvel. A Marvel character to go to DC. And just because this is Robbie's question, I'm going to say She-Hulk, just because this is going to anger Robbie.
I know, I feel like I'm pretty good at my DC knowledge, but is there a character, though, that is kind of like She-Hulk or Hulk that is just a regular person that, just grows into this giant, strong monster? Am I blanking on something? I mean, we got Clayface, but that's kind of different, and he's a villain.
I'm not really thinking of anything. Unless it's maybe, a smaller character. I'm no expert on DC.
Well, yeah, and I feel like I pride myself on being the DC guy, but I can't even think. So
right.
So if you're one of our listeners, tweet at us for this episode and let us know if we're missing someone. But yeah,
Well, I suppose then, my answer was to kind of take a shot at Robbie, but now that you say that, it probably actually would kind of make sense, because I can't think of any characters that are Hulk or She-Hulk like in DC at all.
Because yeah, there's characters that turn into like, you know, I feel like giant animals or like even bigger monsters but like more monstery than like, you know, Hulk still has and She-Hulk has like the human form still.
Right.
They're just giant and green.
Right.
I feel like after this podcast, I'm gonna look it up and be like, oh, there is this character.
Right.
We're idiots. Well, good answers. Good answers. All right. Next Infinity Gauntlet question comes from Isaac. Infinity Bro Isaac. He gave me 2 questions. The first, do you want them both, even though one of them he says you probably won't answer, or do you just want the one you probably will answer?
I mean, if we're just running me through the gauntlet, like I'll just take them both. Why not?
Okay. So this one's 2 questions, 2 separate questions. His first question is, what is your favorite color and style of fedora?
Isaac, like, okay, I can't believe I'm saying this right now. Okay, my favorite color is orange, so we'll just throw that out there. But, like, Isaac, fedora is a style of hat. Like, you can't have a different style of fedora. Fedora is the style. But with that said, I don't own any fedoras, nor will I own fedoras, nor will I ever wear a fedora.
Do you think maybe Isaac is trying to shop for, like, a Christmas gift for you, though? And, like, he really thinks you need one? And maybe you'll look great with one, though. Like,
no, there's absolutely no possible way I'd look great in a fedora. My head is far too large.
Well, that's fair.
It just doesn't work.
Oh, man, I just thought of this. Like, I had, for the 4th of July weekend with the bros, I had a fedora, like a 4th of July fedora type of thing. And I didn't get a picture with any of that, with it on. What a waste.
I was going to say, now that you say that, I did. Yeah, how do you not get that in a single photo, Mark?
How did I miss that? What a miss. In a separate universe, there's Fedora Mark that's now blown up on Instagram.
That's super popular now.
Yeah, like that's what blew up the Infinity Bros in like Infinity Bros Earth like 122 or something like that.
Mark it.
All right, his actual question that he wants you to answer is, if you had to pick 3 fictional characters to help you survive the zombie apocalypse, who would they be and why?
3 fictional characters to help me survive the zombie apocalypse. We are going to go... Number 1, I'm going to take Bulma Briefs, because she has incredible tech and she's incredibly smart. You're
just assuming with Bulma, she already has all her capsule stuff, like on her. Okay.
Yep. Or if there's anything that needs to be invented right away, like she'll be able to do it.
Yep.
I'm gonna need someone who just doesn't care and is really good at just killing everything. So then I'm gonna take Frank Castle, because you just need that guy to just absolutely just be insane about stuff. And my third character, fictional character. Does it have to be a fictional character?
I mean, is someone in the real world that you would like to be on your...
Well, kind of. Well, my answer would be Jeff Goldblum, but can I get Jeff Goldblum playing different characters he's been in movies?
So you're saying with this Jeff Goldblum pick, this particular Jeff Goldblum is able to morph into different characters he has acted as in movies and television?
Yes.
I'll allow it.
Okay.
So this Jeff Goldblum can basically has some type of magic or universal cosmic power that is able to, form into whatever Jeff Goldblum you need at that current moment.
Yes, we'll give him that ability.
Now I got a side question on this. When do you think you need Jeff Goldblum when he turns into the Fly in the movie The Fly?
Probably like at the very end, like if we're just getting like overwhelmed by zombies and we aren't going to survive, like bro, just pull that one out of your hat. And
gotcha.
just
so then, like he's the bait. He's the one that gets you. Like he's the sacrifice.
Yep, he's the sacrifice. Love you, Jeff Goldblum, but like here's our last play.
Later.
Later.
All right. Well, I like that answer. I like it. All right. This one comes from Infinity Bro Max. Max asks. I feel like Max not being able to pronounce words. I get it now, Max. This is the life you live.
It's in your head now.
Host. Yeah, he's never in my head. Because, I live in his head rent-free, just like you live in his dad's head rent-free.
That's true.
So, we are in the minds of Mosers.
We are property brothers.
We are. Okay, so this one comes from Max. Your house is burning down. You can only save one item you own. What is it and why?
Oh, man. That's a great question. Like, okay, like, why is my house on fire? What set my house on fire?
Okay, let me set up the scenario. Let's say you're coming back from your job.
Okay.
And the house is just, like, on fire. Like, your roommates are outside saying, like, hey, I think there was an electrical fire. We heard, the circuit breaker pop, and it just, boom, flames in. We couldn't stop it. But, like, and you're, and, like, in this whole, like, you know, pandemonium, like, the, you know, firefighters aren't there, but they're like, it just happened. And you have probably 30 seconds to run in and grab one item. What do you grab? And why do you grab it?
Well, I'm looking around right now trying to see. I mean, the first thing that jumps out to me is my PS5, but I feel like that's way too material to grab. So I'm gonna grab my my keepsakes box that has all my important documents and childhood pictures and everything else that I've had since I was 18. And my mom was like, "Here, you'll need this. I'm not keeping it anymore."
For sure.
So, well, maybe since I have two hands, I can grab the PS5 in one hand and that in the other, because there's a nice handle on that, so I can just grab both of those.
Say one item, but I guess, you know.
Well, it's my house on fire, not Max's.
That's fair.
So.
That's fair. Max isn't thinking with both hands. He's only thinking with
exactly.
one. Right.
Like, why would I carry one item when I have two hands?
Gosh, that makes me think. Like, yeah, like, do I grab the important documents, or like the one thing I feel like I would grab? Even though now thinking this, like, wait, I have all these photos on, you know, OneDrive, but like, we have this, like, collage from our wedding. I'd probably just go grab, but, you know, that probably could be replaced. I mean, if the dogs weren't out, right. If they were inside, those would definitely be, like, now you're gonna try to make me pick between which dog. It's like, well,
right,
hopefully Bo's already at the door, so I open the door, he's running out. And I have to go get Harvey, who's in his crate. So there you go.
Well, that was my thought of it too. 'Cause that's why when you set the scenario and like the roommates were already outside. Well, it's like, well, if the roommates were inside, I feel like, well, you gotta go save the roommates first. But then you're gonna.
I think Max meant as like material wise, not actually. Yeah, out of your roommates, who do you save and let the rest die?
Who do you save and the rest burn?
And then you remember their screams as they're burning to death for the rest of your life. You have to live with that, Zayne.
This got really
Whose
dark.
Screams can you live with? There you go. That's how we got dark, folks. All right. All right. This one comes from me, and it's not as spicy as I, you know, usually get. But I thought this would be interesting to ask you because it's, you know, it's happening right now.
I'll take it.
It's an Olympic question. So, what Olympic sport would you most like to, you know, compete in, and which one would you least like to compete in?
Does it have to, since we're Summer Olympics, do we have to say Summer Olympics stuff? Or
yes, summer. I'm sorry. Yes, I want Summer Olympic sports because I know what you'd say. It'd be hockey, and then it'd probably be like, figure skating, right?
For winter sports, yeah. Well, actually,
okay. You know what? Give me two sets of answers. Give me winter and Summer Olympics. There you go.
All right. So
satisfy your itch.
For winter, interestingly enough, like for what I would love to play. Just because it would be 100% something up my alley. Like, I'd love to go to the Olympics for curling. Just because it just seems so chill. Like, just, hey, we're just going to throw this down.
There with your polo on and some nice black shoes.
I can, like, maybe, like, grow out a mullet or something and just be ridiculous. And just, like, yeah, we're just curling. Of winter sports, though, it would have to be that, was it Alpine ski jump? Like, the big jump? There's no way I could do that. No.
For sure. I didn't even think about that. I was thinking like that speed skating stuff where it's like you're really...
Now, see,
the heights would kill.
Yeah,
I'd pass out. Like, I would get off that, like, I would make that jump and I'd be like passed out and just bam, hit the...
Yeah, instantly. Like, is my feet on the ground? Okay, I can make that happen. But, like, anything where I'm airborne and I'm in the air, like, no. That's problems. Summer Olympics, though... Oh, man. I think for Summer Olympics, it's probably kind of in the same vein of like the curling. I would love to participate in the archery tournaments. It's super chill. Like, it's not like super taxing. And this is such a Zayne answer too. Because it's like, you just get to shoot arrows at a target and you could be an Olympian.
Guy, bro.
You're right. Then least, I don't know, probably one of the stupid ones like steeplechase or something, because I can't run. I was like, could you imagine me and you're like, hey, you're gonna run the steeplechase? I'm like, I can get around the track once, then I'm gonna quit. And and that one time around the track won't even be fast. Like, everyone will be done by the time I make my one lap around the track, and I'm just, this is just dumb. Why am I here?
I don't know if it's new this year, but I was just like looking at the different sports when I was looking at this. Like I wrote out this question. I was like, well, I gotta go see the sports in case you ask. And they have competitive rock climbing now, and I have like when I saw that, I had this flashback to when a couple of friends and I like a couple of years ago went to like the Carolinas, and they're in North Carolina. They have like I think it's the Olympic training facility for or the U.S. training facility for whitewater rafting, but they also have like these rock climbing like pools where it's like these like really tall rock climbing that basically not just go vertically but like to the slant, so you go over the pool, so if you fall into this pool. And I have a terrible fear of heights, and I just found that terrifying. So I think that like I just had to interject, that would probably be my thing I wouldn't want to do, is be forced to climb this rock wall.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, I'm in the same boat. Like, heights and me just don't really match, so anything where height wise, it's just like, no thank you.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, thanks for those answers. Okay, we got another one. This is the bonus question.
Oh, bonus.
This comes from the Christian nerd, Scott Higa.
Oh, boy.
And he is the Christian nerd. I just want everyone to remember that and know that.
Make sure you don't forget the
Scott Higa, because he's an amazing guy. Okay. He says, I'll read this just how he sent it. Zayne, you yourself are an enigma. Other than women, what do you find enigmatic and mysterious?
Oh, man. Other than women. I'm glad he clarified that I can't say women.
I loved it, too. I was just like, great, we're going to put him in a corner. Give it to us.
Okay, well, I suppose for those that don't, maybe some of you guys know that, more of my friends, but something that's always really interests me and that always fascinates me is like ghost hunting. That is something that it's such a mystery, but for whatever reason, I'm watching that. Like, if there's a ghost hunters, international ghost hunters, ghost adventures, if there's a marathon of that on TV, I'm watching it. Like, there's just something about it and I don't care, like, like, oh man, maybe we found something, maybe we didn't, ooh, and it's just like, I don't care, I'm watching the next episode. Anything like that, and then even taking that further into anything cryptozoology, that has my fascination. That is something I will always, like, I could be sitting at work, and I'm just going down YouTube rabbit holes and Wikipedia rabbit holes and everything on just some bizarre, either creepypasta or some urban legend. Like, that stuff gets to me. So an enigma other than women that just really captures my imagination is anything with cryptozoology or like ghost hunting.
Great answer. That just makes another flashback in my mind is I remember skipping or like, faking sick for junior high because I knew that, on Tuesdays In Search of Marathon on History Channel was on. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. It's always been a fascination of mine to cryptozoology and like the ghost hunting stuff. And I really love like the ghost hunting stuff where they're like what was it? Ghost Adventures, where it was like the plumbers who initially were on that, if I'm remembering that right.
Mm-hmm.
If I got the right, where like they did their best to like debunk stuff. Like that was kind of their shtick. But like they would have stuff where like, well, we can't explain this because clearly it's not plumbing or someone else or static or anything. But yeah, that stuff's crazy. And I'm sure a lot of people don't know, I live in an old farmhouse that's 120 plus years old, and there's things that happen that are odd here, but can't bring too much light to it, then it start happening all the time.
And I love it, Mark. I love it when you share the little things in the group chat, and I'm like, yes.
I told the guys. Yeah, it's and it's weird. I tell my family and my aunts and uncles who grew up in this house, because it's my grandparents' old farmhouse. They even have stories in the house too, so it's, yeah. I mean, I'll tell one story because it's the creepiest one in my book is my niece, who is now going to be 12, and so this is about 10, no, maybe 8 years ago. And I wasn't here at the time, but like my sister and her and my mom were staying, over with my grandparents at the time. And I think it was my mom who got up. And I could be wrong, but I just know this is like the gist of the thing. And my niece was in one of the closets, like talking and playing with someone, and it was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and like full like vocalized like talking like as like a talk and response was happening. So, and I thought that was like creepy AF.
Oh yeah,
especially when it's a kid, because I always feel like when you get into the ghost stuff and like cryptozoology, and like especially with ghost stuff, it always seems like young children have like a conduit to that stuff if if you believe in that stuff. Or you research and seen like, anyways, but yeah, so that's something that's happened. But out of the time I've lived here this year and like 3 years ago when I lived here for a span of time, I've had 2 or 3 things, maybe 4. So if you have more interest on that, DM me and I'll tell you stuff. But,
slide in Mark's DMs and he'll
and I'll tell you
let
ghost
you know.
Stories.
Love it.
All right, so a last Infinity Gauntlet question, Zane.
Oh boy.
And this comes from Jarrett.
Oh boy.
So buckle up.
I'm buckled in. Taco Rebel rappers are holding strong.
Oh, good. I really was worried that they wouldn't, but I'm glad they have held firm. Okay. Jarrett writes, you have to save the world from an alien invasion by proving it's a galactic treasure. The way you prove the Earth is worth saving is by creating the perfect ice cream flavor. What flavor do you make?
Oh, man.
So, the Earth's survival and humanity's survival is now resting in Zane's hands to create an ice cream flavor to give to these aliens invading, who are like, hey, if you give us some good ice cream, show us what you got, they'll let you live. They'll let us live. So there you go, Zane. All the pressure's on you.
I feel like this is a really petty alien race that they're just gonna base our survival on whether or not we can give them good ice cream. They want to see
if we're valuable. If they're maybe that's like what they want. Is like, we've been searching the galaxy. We're eaters of worlds, but if you can give us good ice cream, you're good.
Well, what do we know more about these aliens? Like, I mean, what is their palate?
Good fathers or mothers.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like, they're kind of really petty with stuff.
Do you think like one of them randomly visited Earth like a long time ago and then had ice cream, and then they came back and they're like, you need your best ice cream. Like it's like that one last hope. Like this one alien's like, no, we'll give them a chance. I had this thing when I was there called ice cream.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So like, there's one in the group that's on our side, and like the rest, like the whole federation of this alien invasion is like, no, we're going to destroy them because we need the Earth. And we don't need the people. And this one's like, dude, we got to keep the people because they make the ice cream. And like, let's say for some reason these aliens can't make ice cream because of something, but they can ingest it. So they're like, we need the humans at least to make ice cream. So we got to give them a chance.
That's the headcanon that's working for me.
Okay. So, what flavor of ice cream do you think you would create, or maybe even an existing flavor or a combination of flavors would you be planning to give them? And I want to elaborate. I want to add more to Jarrett's question. It's like, are you doing soft serve? Are you doing like, more of like a traditional ice cream?
Right. Like that's what I'm trying to think here. Like, do we just
shaved ice cream? Yeah.
Right. Do we go shaved? Do we maybe some rolled? Do we go maybe with like a sherbet, maybe a sorbet? Like,
because presentation's also going to be important in this.
Well, I didn't even know that now. Now that presentation
I think
matters.
it would be. I think I'm digging deep. I'm going into the weeds of this. I think there's more to the question. Like, you got to present. Like, you just can't throw this ice cream into some bucket and be like, "Here you go, Bucks." You gotta get like a nice bowl or plate, depending on what you're doing, because maybe you want to do a fried ice cream. And you probably the right spoon. You probably want to do something small so they really have to savor every bite and they just can't wolf it down. So, what do you got?
So maybe like one of those like 50s, like them old like ice cream shop style glasses. Like, okay. I can put like one scoop in there.
For sure.
And that's what the presentation's going to be.
Okay.
Okay, so I realize we're like way overthinking this, but that's just kind of
what we do. That's what we do. Off topic.
Well,
I mean,
well, if I was gonna go with my favorite, it'd be anything that has to do with chocolate and Reese's, which I think is a pretty solid combination. But I almost wonder, like, if we just go extra extravagant with this. So we're just gonna go with a all right, we're gonna flip this around. We're gonna go with a vanilla, maybe like a French vanilla ice cream. And peer with me now. But what we're going to put in the ice cream is that bottom like inch of the cones that has the chocolate in it.
The drumsticks?
The drumsticks. Just that bottom inch for the bite. We'll mix that in the ice cream.
All right.
And then we're going to top that with the Reese's hard shell. So like when it pours on.
Yep.
And then solidifies. Yes.
And that's what you're presenting them.
I think that's what I would go with.
And what size spoon are you going with? Are you going one that's like maybe a tablespoon a bite, or are you going a little bit smaller spoon, or maybe? I'm just thinking, how many bites do you want them to get it in?
Well, the size of the spoon is you want a piece of everything, so you need the spoon to be big enough that you can get a bite of everything, so they taste all the flavors at once.
Gotcha. All right.
So I think we're just gonna go with like a regular. They should be able to get all that on a tablespoon. Get a nice big mouthful. Get all that flavor in there at once.
Now I think that would save us. I think that would give a whole grouping of flavors in that alien's mouth. Hopefully they would fire off some sort of electricity in their mouth to be like, "Yep, these people are worth saving."
That's my hope. That's my hope and prayer.
Hypothetically, it doesn't work and they hate it. Who do you blame? Whose fault is it that they didn't like it? Out of the Infinity Bros, who would you blame first?
Jarrett.
Okay, because he's the reason probably why these aliens came. With
yes.
his AI and stuff. Okay, that makes sense. That pans out.
Or wait, should I just anger everyone and be like, our humanity's last hope is we're just gonna give just a classic scoop of mint chocolate chip ice cream? Let's see how many people I can just anger.
Yeah, well, why don't you just, why don't you just take a gun and kill us all, Zane? Why would you go with that? Jeez. Thanks a lot, Zane. Well, Zane, you have survived the Infinity Gauntlet.
I'm glad. I was really scared.
Maze, labyrinth, whatever we call it.
Can we go labyrinth? I'm a big fan of labyrinth.
Dude, did I send... I'm sorry, we're going off the weeds, but
that's fine.
Insane. Did I sent the group that TikTok where someone tied the labyrinth, never-ending story, I think something else in Wizard of Oz, all into one universe?
I don't remember seeing that because I feel like that would have stuck out to me.
I'm pretty sure I saved it on my phone. I'll go find it and resend it to the group because I thought it was mind-blowing. But if someone knows what we're talking about, I just found that whole concept like crazy, that everything is really all connecting those stories. And my first thought is like, who owns those properties? Because they need to have that happen.
That would
we need television or a Netflix style show or HBO, whatever, that like dives deep into that stuff, because
that would be very interesting. I'd watch it.
Yeah, for sure. I'd be like, here's my money.
Yeah, right. Who do I pay?
All right, Zane. Before we leave, I did promise some nerd news to you, and I wanted to get your insight on some of it.
Okay.
Hey, Zane, I was looking into getting into this Gunpla thing. There's one called the Unicorn Banshee. What the heck is that all about? Actually, Jarrett, what you're thinking of is RX-0 Unicorn Gundam 2 Banshee, which is from the Mobile Suit Gundam. Actually, you know what? It's time for nerd news.
I don't know if it was today it was dropped or a few days ago, but I believe it's the San Diego Comic-Con dropped a Star Wars poster, and maybe this is fake, but I saw it and I thought it was amazing, where it's Luke Skywalker and Grogu, and like in Luke Skywalker's hand is like a kyber crystal, and like above Grogu is like him, putting together a lightsaber.
Yes.
Do you think this is just like an actual teaser to come, or just like, hey, Mandalorian's coming back, so like you gotta come watch it because like this might happen? What do you think on that?
Well, because didn't they release two? Because wasn't then the other image actually of the Mando with the Darksaber?
Yes, and then I think like in the corners it was oh, why am I forgetting her name? The other Mandalorian who is also in Clone Wars, and now I feel bad for forgetting her name. You know what I'm talking about?
Kryze? No. Bo-Katan.
There you go. That's right. Like she's in one corner, and then Geneseo character. Why am I blanking on their names? I feel like I love this show and I'm like blanking on their characters' names. Anyways, yes, I know what you're talking about. Where he has Grogu in his arm and the Darksaber, so that makes me think like, and I feel like that's how we ended season 2 is, Luke comes up and like takes Grogu. It's like, well, come on, they're printing money with this stuff,
right?
They're gonna find each other again.
Well, right. Like I think they have to, and like I don't know where or when it's gonna happen, but. I feel like part of that is more so just teaser stuff. I mean, I'd love to see it, but I just don't know all of what we're going to get. Like, I don't think we're going to get any, like, in-depth training montages or anything for Luke and Grogu.
We're not going to have an episode where Luke's on Grogu's back and, like, going through Dagobah and stuff like that.
No, I don't think so. Or I don't think we're going to get any episode, like, some Rocky training montage, except it's just Grogu just, like, running around. Like, I mean, I'd watch it, but I just don't think that's going to happen.
They have Grogu running up those stairs in Philadelphia. Like, this makes no... They're playing with us.
But, like, they purposely don't... Like, he's, like, crawling, like, one step at a time. But, like, the music's just all still hype. No,
yeah. And, like, we come back 20 minutes later, he's, like,
he's
quarters up.
Yeah. That would be hilarious. But, no, like, yeah, I mean, they're cool images. Like, there's definitely something there to get that hype. They'd make sweet posters, and I think that's probably more of what they're going with that, of like, hey, don't forget this is coming back. This is some cool stuff. This is kind of what... I think it's more so playing with people's ideas of, like, hey, this is kind of where we left off, and this is kind of, this is what we could do. And make
people excited for probably San Diego Comic-Con this year, too. They'd be like, hey, you guys should come down here, because we might have some Star Wars stuff to tell you.
Right, exactly. Like, we have some cool stuff, and, I am glad that she brought up Star Wars, because this is something, too, that I've been thinking about. Like, I've been watching, like, everything's, with Black Widow and Loki and all that's been happening, and I feel like it's kind of slipped to the background a little bit, but The Bad Batch has just still been a solid show every episode that comes out. So I have to give Filoni just an absolute shout out for that. Like, it's not getting the clamor that Loki and everything else is getting, but, like, if you haven't watched Bad Batch, or if you aren't caught up, go back in there and start watching it. It has been fantastic this season.
You bringing that up just sparked another TikTok I saw. Like, I'm getting... TikTok's like the new... my content creator. It's anyways, where someone was, like, theorized that Omega is an actual a female clone of Emperor Palpatine.
That would be wild.
Because there's apparently not a freeze frame or like a poster of her where she like has her hands held and how her hair is like similar or pretty close to like Clone Wars like depictions of Palpatine. So it's like, okay. I mean, and I feel like, with especially Filoni, nothing's a coincidence, it feels like. So
right, for sure. Like just the way he plans everything out. And like I guess like even just the fact that it's Omega, like that's the end. Like is that more of a, she's supposed to be the perfect clone. Can she be like what, like we haven't really gotten much into her backstory, which I think she's going to be much, much larger as we come down the road here.
And in the first few episodes when we're introduced to her, aren't we told that she kind of is the perfect clone?
Yeah, like it's mentioned, but it's not like dwelled on or explored at all. But like
it's like touched on, but like they're going to talk about like the last episode. They get us hyped for the next season.
Right, exactly. Because I mean, there's been enough hype of it that they've been sending bounty hunters to try to get her back. Like she's important enough that she's being hunted.
Someone really wants her. That bounty hunters are being hired.
Right,
to go get her.
And then I guess since we're just on Bad Batch, my deep cut that I don't know why, I don't know how it would work, but what I would love to see either in the Bad Batch or if we got it like in the Mandalorian, like what if it's the Bad Batch that's who ends up saving Grogu from getting murdered, like in the temple.
So you're telling me, Zane, that we're gonna get potentially, in your theory, a live action like, I mean, they could do it because they do it all the time with digital stuff, but these Bad Batch guys aged up, of course, in a live action sequence.
Yes.
I would love it.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Like, they're just there, there's just some fight, something going on, or even if it's just a backstory of, like, my goodness, how did Grogu survive this? And you don't have to be out of armor or anything. It just shows some background clip, and it's just the Bad Batch is how...
It's a crudely digitized Rambo.
Right.
With half his face painted. Just looking back, and, like, that's it. Like, that's all
that's
we get.
it, yep. That'd be wild.
I would love it. I'd love it. All right. I think I got two more I wanted to talk to you about. I think we've talked about it maybe a few episodes ago. But have you seen, because I think it dropped Friday, the new Masters of the Universe Revelation? Or heard anything about it?
Well, I've heard stuff, like, I haven't watched through it yet. I've definitely heard stuff about it. And I know it was Kevin Smith, so I'm like, yeah, well, that's gotta be...
It was like, he was the one heading it and was the big, I think, producer and writer on it. But I know, like, each episode's written by a different person.
Right, but he was kind of the main idea, kind of going by him, though.
Yeah. Well, anyways, yeah, it's supposed to, like, I watched some of the old episodes in the 80s, and obviously, like, that animation's kind of subpar. I think a lot of people can agree with that. But the story starts off kind of, like, it's supposed to be a direct sequel of that series. Oh. And, I watched the first episode, because I think they only dropped 5 episodes Friday. So I think they're dropping, I think there's more coming anyways. But, I love the animation, like, the voice cast they have for it is amazing. And then what I thought was hilarious, and maybe it's not hilarious to a lot of people, is I think because of Kevin Smith being attached to this, and especially in his type of role where he kind of oversaw anything and was like a big writer for it, is getting like review bombed like Captain Marvel. Like, people are just super salty that either he was attached to it or for some reason I mean, because like the first episode like ends with a big cliffhanger.
Oh, really?
So I'm interested to see what the next 4 episodes in these first 5 are like. So, like, I see why people could be upset.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, well, they got an amazing voice cast. And, I mean, it's only 5 episodes, so it's like, you really can't crap. Like, I don't know. People get salty. I know how people can get with certain content out there. I mean, people get upset when, a redheaded character in a comic book is switched out with someone else. I get how, I understand that. So,
right.
But I'm not going to go and write death threats to anybody like some people do. But
right. No, like,
I think like that's the bigger story to me is like it drops Friday and instantly people are like out for blood for Kevin Smith.
Yeah. Well, I think that's just kind of, there's too many people of that in general. Just like, oh, this is not enough like the classic. This is too much. Oh, I don't like this person doing the right. Like, well, no, like all that stuff still exists. Like, you can go watch the original He-Man. Like, you can still, and yeah, again, this is all coming, like, I haven't watched it, so I'm not based, but like, I have seen what you're talking about on some of these reviews of people bombing stuff, and like, I've seen like some of like what's been talked about, like some of the stuff that happens, and I'm just like, I don't fully get where there's this disconnect of like, okay, well, this is just a story, like, it's just another story. Like, you don't have to like it. You don't have to like everything that someone makes or does. And like, if you have
it personally, if it's like you don't like it, because it made me think of this. It's like, I don't know how many seasons of Street Sharks there were, but it made me think of like if I'm 50 and they're like, hey, we're rebooting Street Sharks, and like I go back and they're like, this isn't the Street Sharks I remember. It's like, maybe it's because you haven't watched Street Sharks in 20, 30 years, bro.
Right, and like that's the kind of the goggles you look at it, because yeah, when you watch Street Sharks as a kid, you're like, oh my goodness, this is the coolest thing ever. But yeah, when you're 30, 40, 50, like, it's probably not going to be as cool. Why are these sharks in the street? Why are they not in the water? Why are
they on rollerblades?
Why are they on rollerblades? Who rollerblades anymore? Like, yeah,
for sure.
There's stuff, yeah, as kids that you're just like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever. And I think part of that, especially when people whine about, oh, it's ruining the childhood, is just that people always, they view that with those nostalgia glasses, and they want to capture that magic that happened that, totally drew them in as a kid. And you're like, oh, well, you don't get that as an adult. It's like, well, you're not a kid anymore. You're an adult. Like, some of this stuff is for, kids, or it might not have that magic. And it's just like it's dumb to be so petty that like, oh no, this is ruining this. And it's like it's just a show. It's just don't. You're gonna go to bed tonight and you're gonna forget about it in the morning and you're gonna sleep just fine. Like, it's not altering your life.
Oh my gosh. But you know what's funny though? Like, it's funny and sad though, but I'm sure there are some people who can't sleep because of this though. Like, it upsets them that much. But
if you
I
can't,
get what you're saying.
if you can't sleep because of it, well, then I don't know. Maybe go see a therapist.
You might have other things. Yeah, you might have some other things that are really, really hurting you more than Masters of the Universe Revelation. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, after just one episode, I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what I want from a Kevin Smith cartoon. And, you know, not really being the biggest fan of Masters of the Universe and He-Man and stuff like that. It's like, hey, it's just more content I get to watch. So
right. And the other thing that you kind of notice of the animation of it, that I'll give props to Netflix on that. The stuff that they've been making that's animated has had really good animation. So even just the fact that they put that out, like, you're going to get very good animation on stuff, and that can go a long way. Like, if it looks cool, all right, I'm in,
Yep, 100%. All right, one more nerd news, and we will set the top secret episode on. We'll set it off to sea.
Ooh.
Okay, so Michael B. Jordan announced, or I don't know if he announced or whatever, but he's bringing Black Superman Val-Zod to HBO Max. And I know it had been rumored before that he was involved in like a movie where he was going to be either writing a Superman movie or, writing and starring in a Superman where he is Superman and plays Val-Zod. Or I think at one point it was like going to be Clark Kent too. But anyways, what is your, like, I'm excited. I'm like, give me more DC content. I just want all the DC content. Give me multiverse stuff, whatever. Just make it good, or at least have some heart in it. So like at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, 18 Warner Brothers execs didn't have their hands in it. But what do you think of that news? I think it's great. Michael B. Jordan's like a super popular dude, great actor. I think he's going to do this justice, and maybe we'll get an alternate Justice League or the Justice League.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, Michael B. Jordan, like, big actor, like, really getting some of that recognition. The best part of Space Jam 2.
Whoa. Michael B. Jordan is in Space Jam 2?
Spoiler alert. No, like, I think it's cool because I think, especially with superheroes and everything, like, there's so many stories to be told and different variations. It's like, why not? And
it's a never-ending chest.
Like,
of toys
right.
to play with.
Well, I think that's the big one too that everyone always forgets about. People make so many of these things because they want to sell toys. And it's Superman, whether it's white Superman, black Superman, whether it's Kal-El, Val-Zod, whatever. Like, you're gonna sell toys for this.
Yeah.
Whatever.
There's gonna be a McFarlane figure that I will purchase.
Exactly.
With Michael Jordan as Superman.
And it'll be cool. And like, likable character, and yeah, if it's done well, which I think, like, from his work with like Creed and other stuff, like, I know if he's in charge of this, it's going to be a cool show. I'm all for that. But like, yeah, why would anyone want just still the plain old stuff? Like, I remember when they were talking about like the new Spider-Man with Tom Holland with Marvel, and everyone's like, oh my goodness, are we gonna have to watch Uncle Ben die again? And everyone's just complaining. But then you flip it over to
Isaac still complains about that.
Isaac still complains about it. But like, you flip this over to DC and it's just like, okay, well, we still get the same
Batman origin.
Yep, another Batman origin. Yep, we're just playing Superman. I'll play. Like, it's like,
parents get killed.
Where are some of these off other stories? Like, yeah, give me Superman by Michael B. Jordan. You know what? Give me a Red Sun Superman. Like, give me all these stories that you could do. Give me,
don't tease me with Red Sun Superman. That's like one of my favorite like one-offs.
Right, and just all these Otherworld or Elseworld, whatever you want to call it, all these stories, Elseworlds, yeah. These Elseworlds of just other stories that you could tell, because there's so much cool stuff.
And do it on HBO Max where you can do limited series where you just do 4 or 5 episodes.
Exactly.
Kind of like what BBC does with some shows.
Yeah, for sure. Like, make it a limited series. You don't have to do a full, movie. Make it a couple episodes. It can be its own thing. It can exist on its own, and it's a great.
We should head Warner Brothers. We would make them billions of dollars.
We should.
We would be the Kevin Feige of DC, and like, it'd be weird because like, we know Mark likes DC, but Zayne's like the right person. He knows what's up.
Right. It's just, well, as I've gotten older and just part of the stuff that I've realized And wiser, yeah, sure. But like, I really like good storytelling. And like, I can, it's fine. Like, if you're going to change the different characters, or hey, we're going to make this character a woman, or we're going to make this one a man, or have this backstory, change this from, a plain Jane Midwest, white guy story to, maybe whatever, however you want to change it, as long as you're still telling me a good story, I'm all for it. Because that's why we watch this media. That's why we watch movies and TV shows. I want a story I can watch that makes sense, and it just is a good story. Like, that's what we need more. Like, that's what I crave when I watch media. Like, I don't need to be, necessarily hit over the head with stuff, but like, if you want to change something like this, but you're going to give me an awesome story, more power to you. Now, if you're going to change
still do justice to the character, yeah.
Right, still do justice to the character.
Like, this isn't Clark Kent being portrayed as, as a black person, but at the same time, it's like give me that. I want to know how that story plays out. Like, is like Ma and Pa Kent, like, are they, that's a totally different story. They're in, Midwest, white, like, are they still white, and they have this, child of a different color now growing up? Like, how does that Superman potentially become, or that Clark Kent become Superman, and how does that Superman deal with certain things? Because maybe he, like, very much, you could be raised in a small town in the Midwest and be very much racially profiled and stuff like that. Like, that's got to change the psyche of that Superman in that universe. But in this case, it's Val-Zod, so it's like that's the character is a black version of Superman. Right,
for sure. And like, yeah, there's so much you could do. Like, just, I want good storytelling. If you can, even if it's just, based on something else, or you have an idea, as long as you can tell me a good story, I'm all for it.
Agreed, Zane. Agreed. All we want are good stories that are produced and made by people that really care about the content. And so far, so good with our superhero. Or maybe not on the Warner Brothers side. Marvel has definitely treated us good. Daddy Feige gives us all the content we need. We open wide for it, and he feeds us. And we thank him for that.
Well, that's why.
All right, Zane.
Well, no, I was just going to add on that. Like, I mean, even from beyond that, of like, Marvel's got Feige, what Filoni's doing with Star Wars. Like, if you get people that care about that content and make that, like, that's where those good stories come from. Like, when you have people in charge that are making this stuff that actually care about what they're making, like, it shows up in their final product. And like,
for sure.
I really wish WB can find someone like that, because everyone does, whether you're a Marvel fan, DC fan, whatever, everyone deserves to have these good stories told. So like, I'd be awesome if WB can find someone like that and figure this out and get these stories out there and
give that person like control, like Feige has, where like you are totally trusting that this person, man or woman, or whatever, is doing justice and getting this right, and has like a 10-year, at least a minimum, like a 10-year plan if they want to interconnect stuff like the Marvel Universe does, or go with the different route, which I think might be where they're going, is just doing Elseworld stories, where it's like, hey, we can tell all these different stories and just make it seem like it's not all connected, and then at the end of the day, we do it, Crisis on Infinite Earths, and bring everything into one, and then bam, you start your universe of connected stories.
There we go. I'm all in. Give me that.
So, yeah, I could do it for Warner Brothers, and I'm just giving them free content right here on the podcast.
Exactly. Someone get a hold of someone at Warner Brothers. They can start listening to the podcast.
Yep. We start sending CDs and like floppy disk and like any type of media just to Warner Brothers to make sure someone might listen to it.
Some low level person at Warner Brothers is like, oh man, it's the Infinity Bros guys again.
For sure. Well, Zane, it's been great.
It's been a good time
talking with you. I'm glad you survived the Infinity Gauntlet. It would have been tough if like you had passed during the Gauntlet test, and then I had to deal with that and call paramedics for you.
What would you have done if I just died right in the middle of the Infinity Gauntlet?
I'd be like, for 5 or 10 minutes, I'd be like, okay, Zane, stop.
Okay,
stop.
Zane.
And then I'd probably call the police and be like, hey, friend might have died or passed out and needs help.
But here's the other question. Would you stay online the entire time? Like, would you stay in our Skype call?
100%. I would stay until I saw police and paramedics in your room.
Like walking. Okay, that's fair.
And they gave me the thumbs up that it's good to go. Like, I would, for sure. I wouldn't leave you. What if you were?
I respect that.
Yeah, 100%. Well. Now we're ending it for sure.
Let's end for sure.
This is for you to edit. Thank you again, Zane.
No, thank you.
I think you can find us on, all types of social media. I know we're taking, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I know we're on, Discord. I know we're taking a little break from, Twitch. Some of the bros have their vacation. They're kind of without internet.
There's a lot of stuff going
taking
on.
a break. I know Max is like moving. We're just busy with work and life. So, and it's summer. So you got to hopefully give us a little slack. You don't have to. Obviously, we're not forcing you to do anything. But we appreciate your guys' time. And as always, stay fresh, Infinity Bros Universe. Bye.
Bye.